That's the song they need to play when the strippers are out.
The final countdown?
The football song.
Oh. Wow, they sound very similar.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, wait.
With the express written permission of ABC.
Oh, wait. No, it is. Okay. Actually, the football.
Yeah, still similar. Better get those dollar bills ready. One hand clapping against the other makes a wonderful sound for candy. Coming to the main station 5. Fellas, ignore that C-section scar. Yeah. Fap.
Dream.
Everybody ready? Because here we go.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it?
Oh, wait. Topping coffee. Anybody else need anything?
Yeah. Pretty please. Thanks.
Bunch of Marys.
Secretaries named Marys. I need a personal assistant. Bang maid. Just someone to handle all the shit I don't want to deal with. Thank you. Hi. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Kooks, Cranks, and Iconoclasts. I'm your host, Mike, and as always, I'm joined by my co-hosts,
Spencer Lowry.
The Christopher Wells of your fucking dreams.
How prophetic. It's almost as if you know the topic we're going to discuss today.
Topic.
That's right. Today we're talking about sleep paralysis. I also want to throw out real quick RIP to David Lynch. He kind of inspired some of this, but not a lot, because we're not going to get into the whole artsy-fartsy side of things. But he was a bit of an inspiration behind picking this topic. What we're not going to do today, like some other podcasts, is sit around and talk about our dreams. There will be some...
Nobody wants to hear that shit.
Yeah, no, fuck that. That's like the bottom of the barrel, worst thing we could do. We wouldn't do that to our listeners. However, there will be some recollections of real-life experiences I know Spencer and I have had. If you have anything to add, Chris has not suffered from sleep paralysis. Consider yourself lucky.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about a couple of different aspects of this. We got a couple of different researchers who are coming at it from different facets. And as always, before we get into it, we're also going to do a little What's Weird this week.
All
All right, I'll go first, shall we? Okay, in New York State, there was a drug counselor busted for selling crack cocaine to undercover cops. And, you know, this was kind of nostalgic to me because you don't hear much about crack anymore.
No, you really don't.
Fentanyl this, crystal meth that.
Yeah. Crack is taking a backseat.
Yeah, it really, you know, and that's what stood out for me.
Did you say nostalgic?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the right word
Yeah,
for
because
it.
we don't get, like...
No one ever even
We don't get
says-
crack articles anymore at all.
Yeah, no. This is the first time I've even heard the word crack.
Maybe a K2 or a fucking bath salt still here and there,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
no, like, just like, oh, that's a
outs.
crackhead. You know...
Never see a good crack pipe on the ground anymore.
No.
It's all those ones with the little balls on the end.
Yeah, even...
Gotta go by 635.
Even by my shop, like, there's still, like, when I see people smoking in their little tents and stuff, meth! They're not smoking crack
Or
anymore.
the fucking foil, the fentanyl on the foil.
There's fentanyl on
You
the-
see bits
Man.
of burnt foil everywhere now.
There's
with the black
foil
shit on
everywhere,
it.
and there's meth even in the ghettos, in black culture, which is not... I mean, meth was not a black thing.
No, but it's crawling into all
All aspects of life.
all genres of people.
Everybody likes to get a little zooted up, and fucking tweaking on some wires.
Yeah.
Tweaked out, fucked up, geeked out,
Fucking
pockmarked.
fucking gooning on their wiener. Fucking
Yeah. Oh god.
Yeah, they're just wasting their potential. All that free labor you could be getting out of these meth heads is wasting the day in their tents.
Yeah, if that
Makeshift tent
labor
city.
involves furiously masturbating fruitlessly to porn all night.
If you could hook that up to some kind of perpetual motion machine,
free energy.
we're talking. Yeah.
You think that's the
there
free
was a
energy
job,
Tesla
There was
had
a
in
job
mind?
peeping out through windows.
Musky's looking
That'd
into
be
it.
great
I know
for
he is.
that.
Yeah.
Anyways, this fella, you know, he's he works in an inpatient drug counseling rehab, and it doesn't say in this article on thesmokinggun.com whether or not he was selling to his patients or not. All we know right now is that he was reported to and investigated upon on multiple occasions sold the crack cocaine to drug task force undercovers. You
Well,
know?
I believe I have some insight into this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about about the recovery industry. Okay?
Yeah.
It's like drug rehab recidivism.
Okay, well, the thing is, everybody, not everybody, but the majority of people that work in these, that are drug treatment counselors, drug treatment places, anything like that, former drug addicts.
Yeah.
Because part of the program is carrying on the message. So if you're actually working your program, you
brings that human element into it.
That's part of working your program. And then also a lot of these people are also ex-cons and also learn that, hey, there's a fuckload of money that you can get working in the recovery industry.
Yeah.
The big thing here in Texas, Dallas specifically, all the halfway houses are owned by ex-felons because they learn that you get that guaranteed money from the state to house.
You can buy all the drugs.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the thing. And if you're a former addict, sometimes you fall off that horse and into a big pile of horse.
Do you think that the people who... oh, no, I've fallen into a pile of crack. Whichever shall I do?
Yeah.
Do you think those people that run those halfway houses, do they get heads up on when, like, a drug test is coming up? For one of their, I don't know, sublets, whatever you want to call it.
Because they're involved with the police too, right? The halfway houses or
they
probation?
contact probation officers, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let me even more insight.
Yeah.
We're getting the real inside baseball here.
Yeah. My buddy Wade, he lived in one of those after he got in prison. He lived in one. He eventually managed the thing.
That's right.
After being there. So he got to help decide who was up for a drug test and who wasn't. But you mostly do that when, like, at the house because they're all run individually. You just don't want them acting out of line. You want to keep the people there.
Yeah.
You want them to stay there because you're getting paid by the state to house them.
By the person, yeah.
By person.
Huh.
But if the person shows up fresh out of prison
foster kid.
or fresh off the street and they're an asshole, you also don't want them in the house because they fuck up the whole harmony of the house.
Yeah.
And then the fucking living room TV ends up missing.
All that paperwork.
Yeah. So what they would do, Wade specifically, I know if a guy sucked, he'd be like, all right, I think we're gonna have to do a drug test.
You're really bringing down the vibe around here.
Yeah. Like let's go ahead and give this guy a test. But if he was cool with the guy and know the guy's like struggling with recovery and maybe had a relapse, it'd be like, look, dude, we know you had a relapse. You're an all right guy. We want to give you another chance. And do that.
You can't cause problems.
You can't cause problems. But they are recovering addicts, so they need help. Now, this guy, he was working as a counselor. Apparently. Yeah. So,
inpatient rehabilitation clinic. Yeah.
Now, there are a lot of the ones that were like... in some of the facilities I were, they were basically just training to become probation officers, had no experience in recovery, no former
social
addiction.
work. Yeah.
They were just social workers, essentially, and most of them did not give a fuck. Now, this dude looks like he used to like crack. So he probably was definitely...
What makes you say that?
Well, just the age, the eyes,
Okay, yeah, he looks a little... Yeah, okay.
He's been done some crack.
It's not his race. It's the withered look on his face.
It's the withered look on his face.
Right behind those.
If that man were white, I would say the same thing.
Yeah, he's done some living. You can tell by looking at him.
So he had a hard life, got sober, got a job in the rehab, but then he fell back off that wagon, or maybe he just wanted some money.
Human element,
you know. Just realized that, hey, and I know personally, when I got sober, the first time I got sober, I realized, man, I could still sell drugs and make way more money if I'm not using them. So he probably had that initial thing, but everybody knows it's the expression, if you hang out in a barbershop, you'll eventually get a haircut.
Yeah.
Well, if you slanging crack and you used to smoke crack and you like crack, you eventually gonna give it a little taste.
That's when you've got to have a haircut.
Especially after the pandemic, am I right?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
After the holidays.
This guy probably originally had a good intention of paying it forward, working the program, doing the steps. I forget which one.
I can see that on his face, too. I bet
from grace.
I feel like this guy, he looks like he was probably like really idealistic at one point, and then was just like,
probably beat down with it working in the system. Probably having to let people slip through his fingers and not be able to help him.
Well,
he got fed up.
In treatment, I've been with a bunch of guys. I just picture this guy being like one of those guys. They get super gung-ho while they're in treatment. They're the hardest, craziest crackhead in the street, but then you get them, they take everything and they have to do it to the umph degree.
Great to be alive. Want to spread the good word. How you feeling, brother?
Exactly. That's exactly how they are. They jump so far deep into the treatment portion of it and work in the program that those people are usually the ones
I'm thankful
that relapse the hardest. So I think that's what happened with this guy. But you know what? Yeah. He's going to do his little bit of time. He's going to get back to a halfway house, and he's going to do it again.
Well, hopefully he'll have the serenity to control the thing.
Yeah.
However the prayer goes.
Yeah. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change and the courage to change the things I can.
Yeah, he just lacked the wisdom to know the difference.
Yeah. Oh, then the wisdom to know the difference. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
That's fine. Yeah.
All right. So, Spencer, can you pull up that image?
Yo.
All right. I just got a little simple throwaway one here. We're not going all the way in the waters. We're just dipping our toe into Chris's conspiracy cesspool.
There's not a lot of meat on the bone here.
I get it.
It'll make sense in a second.
The thin case.
All right. Let me take y'all back to 2017 real quick. Gucci Mane gets out of prison. Okay? Something wasn't right? When you look at Gucci Mane when he got out, he was all thin and lean. All his syrup sipping, drank sipping, weed smoking, shrimp eating fucking face fat was gone. And you know, could it have been
that's suspicious
that he was in prison working out for those couple years and exercising and not drinking alcohol or doing drugs
or eating shrimp?
Alcohol does give you a fat face.
Oh yeah, it does. So
what are you trying to say?
Could it have been that? Or was it that he was in fact cloned, and the reason the clones are skinny is because they can't get them right.
We have the technology.
We can rebuild him.
So Gucci Mane was cloned, okay?
They cloned him with a full life-size version, adult grown.
Because
he just came out of the tube fully grown.
Now, I got this from my source in 2017.
Your inside source.
My inside source,
your deep throat,
who goes simply by the name Worm. And he told me about the whole Gucci. He laced me up. And so when I saw this little bit of news today and yesterday, and actually I'd been kind of thinking it over the past week, seeing these images of this man that I won't call him a hero.
Please don't.
Also, he had so much of his fucking money taken from him, he probably can't afford to eat a good meal.
I'm getting there, Spencer. They don't know who I'm talking about yet.
Oh, sorry.
I'm talking about our drunk conspiracy uncle, Alex Jones. If anybody has seen him...
He's not allowed at Thanksgiving anymore.
He's not. He hadn't been allowed at Thanksgiving for quite a while. But
in a hole underground.
It was declared through another inside source on Instagram that Alex Jones is in fact a clone now. That is not the Alex Jones we all grew up with that was also possibly Bill Burr.
On Instagram.
I got my confirmation on Instagram. They did Alex Jones.
And they're not owned by China, so...
Old AJ went the way of Gucci Mane. We don't know that they're officially dead, but they're possibly being kept somewhere in like a frozen state. The original?
A tube of some kind?
A tube and some kind of...
maybe feeding his mind from him to the clone.
Yeah, and some kind of nutrient jelly, possibly. Anyway.
Oxygen-rich
because if you look at the new Alex Jones...
just slathered in protein.
His skin is glowing. He's thin, no fat face. His facial hair
crow's feet are gone.
Is magically trimmed, and he's got this Lex Luthor bald head thing going on.
You know what? #wood.
Yeah.
#wood. WOLT.
His eye color looks different too.
And it looks lighter. The brightness is in his eyes.
Yeah,
but that's
sucked the fat out of his eyes.
But on this new Alex Jones, you can see also kind of like with the gentleman we were just talking about. This man has lived a life. And you can see the heartbreak and the
yes, okay,
the deep found guilt.
So that's my point.
Let's hope so.
My point is not that this new Alex Jones is. Oh, did Alex Jones finally hit bottom after that whole settlement thing, losing his entire empire?
All he had to do was say allegedly,
a fat drunk fuck. Did he realize he had an alcohol problem? He lost his wife. He lost his kids. He lost his job. He lost his entire fortune. And then did he just maybe stop drinking and get his life turned around?
I bet he fucking hates onions now.
No, he's a fucking clone. It didn't happen. He didn't get on Ozempic. He's a fucking clone, and the clones have nutrient deficiency problems. We all know that.
Because in the cloning tube, they can't match the gut flora, so they can't
do it right.
the way they used to.
So that's what it is. I just wanted to let y'all know in the world, that you can't trust Alex Jones anymore.
Public service.
He is not the one.
Yeah, now you can't trust him.
Yeah.
Well, it's like I said off record earlier, it's either all the stuff you said about exercising in jail and eating right, etc., or clone.
Yeah.
Clone is one word, so obviously it's the more simple explanation.
Rolls off the tongue
but
better,
do y'all know why he was cloned?
It probably has something to do with Jewish space lasers or
Mike, you're almost there.
Deep state.
Well, the one thing
red shields.
The one thing Alex Jones would never, ever do was outright say Jews, right? Or Israel or anything like that. He would mention Israel slightly, but he was still very pro-Zionism, right? And that's why
globalist.
He would say globalist. But the thing is, he was always, that's why people called him a shill. They said he was controlled opposition.
Yeah.
The thing is, I think after his collapse, he finally called out Israel, and that's why they had to put his clone forward. They had to lock that fat man that we knew and loved. They locked that fat man up in that gel tube, and then made this fucking Lex Luthor healthy-looking specimen that's a lie.
It could also possibly,
and a
Zionist alive in a jar.
Zionist shill.
I'm just floating the possibility that maybe even mentioning anything about Jews or Zionists will immediately have you rendered a crank, or just the problematic nature in itself of, you know what I'm saying. Well,
that's why I'm the crank, and Kooks, Cranks, and Iconoclast. Anyway, so I don't know. Just careful what you say about them, because you might end up in a gel tube.
Whoever they are.
Getting cloned.
Nobody wants to be in a gel tube.
We're not subscribing to anyone specific they here.
And you will lose credibility like Gucci Man and AJ.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Gucci Man still got some credibility.
No, he don't. He don't.
Oh, really?
No, he ain't got the pull like he used to.
He doesn't have the same
He doesn't have the same juice?
No. When he lost his belly, all his power was in that fat belly.
That was pure concentrated Riz in his belly.
It was 100%.
He's like a rap Buddha.
All right, Mike, what do you got?
Okay, so in keeping with today's main topic, I've been looking into a phenomenon known as targeted dream incubation. Now, this is based off an old, magic system that, ancient Greeks and Romans used, where they would, go someplace where there was, known to be the home of a god and sleep there in hopes that they would have dreams that would feature that god and they could communicate with them. Well, it turns out that companies such as, and these are just the ones we know that have done this, Coors, Microsoft, Xbox / who else? McDonald's, IBM, Lego, Disney, Google, and probably several others. Like I said, these are just the ones we know, who have started adopting various experimental advertising techniques to beam commercials into people's dreams, more or less, for lack of a better word.
Focused sound beams.
I was going to ask. I didn't get a chance to look into that article you sent, but what is the way that they are doing that? What mechanism do they use to do that?
Well, they've mostly done it in-house, and some of these people
they're just practicing.
Yeah.
But what is the method that they are practicing?
They'll show it's kind of like a cross between subliminal advertising and getting the right timing. So they'll show commercials for Coors
at bedtime?
Yeah, pretty much. And people are having specific products show up in their dreams, they've reported. It's a method that uses stimuli to guide dreams towards specific topics during sleep onset. TDI can be used to study dream content, explore the mind, improve sleep quality, stimulate creativity, and treat addiction. So there is a hypnosis element to this as well. And people like Disney and Google and Microsoft have used it, they make their employees do it. Well, make is probably a strong word, but they're go home, think of an invention while you sleep. And this is how they, they're in all that woo shit. So they practice it. as far as we know.
But that's also I mean, shit, sometimes you think about it. If you think about something, yeah, it's going to be kind of in your dreams because it's already like there, you know, you already got it in your mind. So, I mean, that's not too out there.
No, yeah. It uses sensors to track sleep onset as a method to deliver and record audio. There's something called the Dormio device, which is an example of this. And it uses enhanced memory consolidation and increases creativity by up to 43% in these sort of lab settings. However, there is a legality to this. I found this short essay written by he's a advertising lawyer, I believe. It says advertisers are attempting to market to us.
That guy.
Yeah, right. Super, super satanic, if anything. While we dream. This is not science fiction, but rather a troubling new reality using a technique dubbed targeted dream incubation. Companies have begun inserting commercial messages into people's dreams. Roughly, TDI works by 1, creating an association during waking life using sensory cues, e.g. a pairing of sounds, visuals, or scents, and 2, as the subject is drifting off to sleep, the association is again introduced with the goal of triggering dreams with related subject matter. Based on a 2021 American Marketing Association survey, 77% of 400 companies surveyed plan to experiment with dream advertising, or what this article calls branded dreams, by 2025. So we're just now entering the renaissance of this, apparently.
Yeah, you were saying about association. I heard this bit. I think it's on. You can find in little shorts on YouTube where someone will go into a public, like, internet cafe or a library in the computer section.
Yeah.
And they'll play on their computer or on their phone that little splash from the beginning of Pornhub videos. That
You were telling me about this the other day.
They'll see how many people turn around and, like, dude, like, everybody has that. Like, you could hear the fucking squirts and the popping boners. Like, as soon as it's like where it says Pornhub community right before the video starts. Remember that? We don't have Pornhub anymore, but I remember.
Not in Texas, yeah.
Yeah, but it's just a little.
They snuck that one past us.
It's a little, like, drum sting, you know, that you get, and
we could do that, like
the whole room would be like, whoa.
You could do that also ubiquitous. With like Netflix has the badum, and then fucking what's that show?
HBO?
CSI Las Vegas has the chung chung.
Well, that and there was the brazzers.
Yeah.
Brazzers.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this shit, I don't know. The idea that these things will be potentially invading our dreams. I can't recall any dreams I've had where, you know,
you wanted a Pepsi afterward?
Yeah, no, just like, you know, Nuprin, little, yellow, different. I've never woke up like that, but
I used to
would
dream
not
about
put it
toys
past
that
these
didn't
people.
really exist.
Toys?
Yeah,
Well,
so it's kind of like a brand thing.
Well, that's just being creative. If they didn't exist.
Yeah.
That's true. Maybe you should get, well, shit, that company's not around anymore. It's about to show my age. Fucking the people who made Ninja Turtles and all that shit.
They're
Toxic
not around
Crusaders.
anymore?
Hasbro. Playmates.
Playmates was owned by Hasbro.
Was it?
I think so.
I used to have the blimp. That was fucking badass.
Yeah, but that shit stank that came out of it.
Yeah, the rubber smell with all the breath that's condensed in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's gonna be our reality in the next few years. And what PlayStation?
Which means it's probably already been rolled out to a certain extent.
What
for years.
PlayStation?
Yeah, what PlayStation number are we on?
I mean, I have a 4, but 5 is out.
5 is out?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm like years behind.
So yeah, that was a big one too, because Xbox was like, and I've had this definitely happen before. Like, they would make people play video games and then like record their sleep process or whatever in-house and ask them if they would dream about the video games. And I've definitely had that.
I've had that.
Yeah.
In the dream, it's like
Manhunt.
I gotta have double jump. Why can't I double jump?
Yeah,
left, right, X square, X square.
That was
I was stealth killing people left and right.
64.
So yeah, that's what's weird this week.
When he double jump.
So, yeah, like we said, we're not going to hopefully let this devolve into too much of our personal dream talk. I've tried to include some juicy bits about this because sleep paralysis, like, it kind of branches off into all this other shit like alien abduction, demonology, witchcraft, etc. I mean, it's the underlying explanation for what may be going on. You know what I'm saying? But also, there's physicists out there who think that dreams are possibly like a mental doorway of some kind into parallel realities. Like we're getting a vision of it or whatever. I'm just telling you what the physicist said.
Yeah, I have a feeling I'm going to be sucking my teeth in this
you
a lot today.
You don't think there was one physicist in the office that's like, that's fucking gay. Y'all are gay. Shut up, fucking nerds.
Knocking their coffee on the ground.
Yeah.
Dr. Beauregard, will you please calm down?
Yeah, I'm here on a football scholarship.
But yeah, no, like this plays into stuff about quantum neurochemistry, and like we talked about like microtubules in the brain and quantum what do you call it? The quantum collapse. What's it called? Quantum Zeno effect. When the particle wave collapse.
Spencer just made
I know you know.
I know you split beam experiment.
But
when
also
the waveform collapses and
that's right. Okay, yeah. And then altered states of consciousness and out of body experience. So an astral projection, like this is all stuff that kind of gets into this weird hazy area, which if you don't necessarily believe in it, I'll start off with one guy who has been subcontracted by the US government under what is known as the gateway process. And this is a guy named Bob Monroe. Robert Monroe is an American businessman, author, and the founder of the Monroe Institute, a nonprofit organization dedicated to exploring human consciousness, particularly through techniques for out-of-body experiences and altered states of awareness. Monroe was initially a successful radio and television executive, but his life took a turn in the late 1950s when he began experiencing spontaneous out-of-body experiences. These experiences, which he initially tried to dismiss, led him to investigate the nature of consciousness and human perception more deeply. He later documented his experiences and research in his best-known book, Journeys Out of the Body, which is considered one of the foundational works on the subjects of out-of-body experiences. Monroe's personal experience and the concepts he developed became central to his later work with the Monroe Institute, who worked closely hand in hand with the U.S. government in their whole remote viewing crazy fucking bullshit. Who knows what's going on there? But the government has strongly looked into this whole gateway process, which uses hemisync, which, if you're familiar with like binaural beats and shit like that, it's engineered sound that's supposed to synchronize the hemisphere of your brain or hemispheres of your brain to aid in the process of meditation and or self-hypnosis, whatever you want to call it, because they're kind of the same thing.
It doesn't sound like EDM, does it? Because that would be terrible.
No, that would actually be closer to music. Oh. This is not...
Binaural beats is like tones.
But you like, I listened to some yesterday. I've listened to it before, and it plays on the left-right ear thing, so you can feel it kind of like
you gotta have
moving. Yeah, moving through your head. Yeah, it only works on headphones. But it's very strange, and it leaves you, if you listen long enough, you get like these weird like physical wah-wah feelings, and like everything else sounds kind of wah-wah-wah. It's got like a metal
like after you huff, like after you huff duster?
Yeah. Okay. A lot like huffing duster, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so I mean, the whole idea does have merit. If I mean, that's one of the things that's always sold me, is that if the U.S. government's looking into it, then they know that there's a way to exploit something. So if you're on the fence about any of it, but at the same time, yes, the government also has spent several $1,000s in investigating why chimps fling their shit.
It still makes me think, because like we, find out about all this stuff they did, fucking this, everything we know that the government did that's all crazy, it was like pre-1980s.
Yeah.
But because they got really good at keeping the rest of it secret after that.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, what are they paying for now? If they were doing all this dumb shit back then, what the fuck do they got going on now that we don't know about?
Yeah.
Well, shit, dude. Yeah, and like the cutting edge of science is shit that's like barely comprehensible to most people now.
Yeah.
So the first, I believe, it was the first inquiry into MK Ultra was presided over by the Rockefeller family. So what we know from that is probably next to nothing. Just going on,
private.
Their their associations and who and what is being funded and where.
The government, the government, they just subcontract to private companies now and private labs. So there's a lot less oversight and things that can be found under
like the
freedom
whole
of
BlackRock
information.
fiasco. They had independent contractors that weren't working for the government operating quasi.
Oh, Blackwater?
Yeah.
Same thing, probably at this point.
Blackwater, so they didn't have to, they were enjoying a lot of the
benefits.
What benefits of being like a government army or whatever,
Yeah.
but they didn't have to. There wasn't as much accountability.
No oversight.
It's like, hey, these weren't American soldiers.
Way
you
less
know,
accountability.
So, yeah.
Less adhering to the rules of engagement for United Nations.
Because they're not an army. They're
Geneva Conventions, etc.
contractors, yeah.
Fucking psychopathic murderers, more or less. Not all of them, but I'd say a good portion from what I've heard. But, yeah, no. And this is actually kind of sort of spilled into popular culture. Like, everyone knows when it comes to sleep paralysis, like, most people have heard about the old hag or shadow people, which is a huge thing. And then when you break down the specifics of shadow people, you have the Hat Man or the Plaid Man. There's all kinds of sub-shadowy characters that, like, play into this. But what's really weird, and I talked about this a long time ago on one episode, but how there's a strange subculture of teenagers and adolescents who are abusing Benadryl because it's got phenhydramine or whatever in it, and it causes like weird hallucinatory sleep states because they want to specifically encounter shadow people or whatever.
Yes.
And they've
you know, when we used to dabble with Ambien.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was just
You take 8 of them, and then you stay awake. It's gonna be fucking gnarly, man.
you see spider webs everywhere, man.
it was
great.
It was really gnarly. Like it only worked like a couple times, and then your brain doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't work anymore. Like you build a tolerance. to it
I remember
really quick.
one time it was kind of interesting, but the other times I just miss a day. You know.
Yeah, it's got a disassociative quality to it, which is like that's why I got into fucking what's it called DXM so much.
Is
back
Ambien
in
still
the
a
day.
thing? Do they still like market that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There's more
I
competitors
can't take
now,
it because I have apnea. Apparently, if you have sleep apnea and you take Ambien, it can make you stop breathing.
Oh, well, that's not good.
and sleep apnea is strongly tied with sleep paralysis. Like
That's why I have some personal anecdotal experience.
Yeah.
With this.
The mechanism of action behind it is essentially that when you have dreams, like have you ever seen like a dog or a cat like like running in their sleep kind of? Humans don't really do that. We do to a degree, but the reason that sleep paralysis happens,
punching Misty in the face.
yeah. If you have a dream,
Sleep paralysis, babe. Sleep paralysis.
you're having baby's day out on a construction site.
Well, mine would be
it
the
stops your body from doing it.
opposite of paralysis. Mine would be like sleep fighting or whatever.
Yeah, this is all part of the same mental mechanism.
Yeah, because I will.
It's so you don't punch the shit out of people.
I've thrashed,
and so you don't jump out the window. Yeah.
only time if I end up on my back, that's when I like like. flip the
That's
fuck
usually
out.
when it happens too.
I can't sleep on my back most of the time because I don't know if it's apnea, but I can't breathe very well, so I have to sleep on my back.
It'll snap you awake, or you'll get that weird, like I used to get it in school a lot when I fell asleep, but you get that weird like falling sensation and you just wake up like, oh.
That's because you, with apnea, this is a similar thing. When you stop breathing in your sleep, your body, your adrenal glands squirt out a big dose of adrenaline to jar you back.
Squirt out.
So not only does it kickstart your breathing back again, but it removes you from restful REM sleep. Which is the problem with apnea, because you basically go 20, like me, I haven't slept fully in like 20 years. You know?
Endocrine squirts.
Yeah,
Oof.
and you know, so that's affecting your cardiac system. It's horrific for the body. That's why CPAP machines are so fucking expensive.
God, isn't that fucked up too? How expensive that shit
And
is.
see,
So many people have sleep apnea.
My insurance would always deny me. I couldn't go see a pulmonologist. And see, it's designed that way because sleep apnea and not getting restful sleep at night is going to fuck up so many other systems in your body. You end up using more insurance and medical industry products.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the one thing they deny you because they know you'll keep coming back to nurse their teeth more.
Fucking teats.
You know, that's actually I learned recently because I sell all that stuff that we get from salvage at work. I sell it on Facebook Marketplace or whatever, right? You cannot sell any kind of fucking medical equipment, even if it's not like syringes or things that go in your butthole, like a sleep apnea machine. You could buy, because the parts that touch your face, you can just buy fresh ones of those. Anybody can get those, but like the machine is pretty expensive. Yeah, but you can't.
And you have to have a pulmonologist prescribe you certain
you can't
settings.
resell those fucking things. They just doesn't matter. They won't let you buy them.
Man, I talked to my pulmonologist for 7 minutes, and he just told me I needed to lose weight. This is before I even get to the referral for the sleep study, $150 with my insurance. I couldn't go.
Jesus.
Fuck them.
Well,
He's just like, take a walk, you fat fuck.
Yeah, pretty
Walk
much.
it off.
That's my medical
And he
advice.
was guilt tripping. He's like, "Don't you want to be healthy for your son?" I was like, "Well, what the fuck am I paying here for?"
Yeah.
I know it wasn't $150. It was $500.
I didn't come here to be insulted, but that's why they call us patients, because we need to be that way to deal with their bullshit. So yeah, outside of the Hat Man and Shadow People and the Old Hag, this also has a play in strange, let's say, like I said earlier, alien abductions and, let's say, demonic encounters as far as most primitive peoples throughout history were concerned. This is where you get the idea of incubi and succubi, which are, for those who don't know, demons, incubi men, succubi women. The singular would be incubus or succubus. Perhaps you've heard of a band,
Stick it in or suck it out.
one of my ex-girlfriends who happens to be one of these things. This plays into also, like we mentioned earlier, how, yes, you fall asleep on your back. That's when it happens a lot. And say you have a farmer's prick in the morning, something's going to come show up and take advantage of that. A succubus if you're a male, incubus if you're a woman. Now, this also plays into shit like spectrophilia as well, which we got to throw in a weird paraphilia almost every episode, I feel like now.
Wait, is spectrophilia where you're horny for ghosts?
Yes.
Damn, I'm good.
There's tons of stories by women who, I mostly just heard it from women. It's usually always women who claim that they've had some kind of sexual encounter with a ghost.
They're getting dicked down by fucking Casper?
Maybe. Or
He
this
looks
is
like
some
he'd have
kind
a
of
soft touch.
some kind of suppressed memory, maybe. I don't know. I don't want to go into the darker regions of this, but
Yeah, let's keep it light.
I don't know.
Keep it light today.
Yeah, it's,
You look just like
who
my
knows?
Uncle Bubba.
Yeah, exactly. It could be something like that. Who knows? I would talk to a therapist
stop
about
laughing.
it, no matter what. Because if you're going around telling people that you're having sex with a ghost, there's gonna be a lot of questions following up. So just be prepared for that. But yeah, after we go into a few of our own experiences here, I've got a few, let's say, excerpts from interesting sources that talk about specific evidence of nighttime encounters. Jizz under black lights, that's going to be part of it. And just the wet nightmares and sexual nature of some of this stuff. But also, you'll see through some of the stuff I've thrown in here how it plays in through just a long history of demonology, quote unquote, or witchcraft throughout history, and dreams of flying, going off to some other place. According to Freud, I believe, he says that dreams of sex are actually dreams of flying, but I don't know what that makes. Dreams of sex. Yeah, there's some kind of weird...
Bet he's all coked up. He felt like he was flying whenever he was banging.
Speaking of smoking crack, he did enjoy smoking crack.
I'm sure he did.
And actually, he was getting that pure freebase that made right shit. Wasn't no baking soda.
Yeah.
That was ammonia and fucking ether.
Made efficiently by Germans, I'm sure.
Yes, very, very, very good.
So yeah, I know you said you had some experiences. Why don't you fucking lay them on us there, brother?
Yeah, well, when I was a child, firstly, and this kind of leans into my adult experiences.
Wait, so that you've had multiple?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It happened when I was a kid, when I was very young, or I'd be in bed watching the inside of my eyelids, but still feeling awake. And I would see a black dot tracing across, like blacker than the black of my eyelids, darker than the dark. And it would get right in the center, and it would stop, and then it would just like, and get big and like fly into me, and it would make me jump, like not off the bed, but it would make me like bounce in bed. It felt like, really.
So you don't think that was your older brother farting on your face while you were asleep?
See, there could be.
I always smelled sulfur too.
A demon.
Yeah,
a demon.
A little dot hovering over your face. Wind blows you back.
Anymore. No, that would happen a lot. So much that it was like a part of my conversation when I was a kid. This is like 10, 8, 9, 10. Then nothing all through growing up and adolescence, and then I guess first time I had it was when I found out I was going to be a father. And
Stress
from what I read, stress can bring it on. Also apnea,
and drug use.
And drug use. So I hear. But anyways,
we'll get into it.
It would be. I never saw the hag or a lot of people feel the presence of a black shadowy figure pressing on their chest.
A lot of people claim to see like a specific entity, which is weird. I've never had that either.
That never happened to me. What would happen is my eyes could open, but I couldn't move my body, and my breathing felt constricted.
Yeah.
It felt like I couldn't open my lungs all the way.
Are you awake, or is it like
I'm awake?
Okay,
Yeah.
it's like
I'm awake. My eyes are open, but I can't move my body.
Is this going to bed or waking up in the morning?
I would always wake up in the night with it.
In the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or as I'm going to sleep, it would happen like 30 minutes after I go to sleep.
If I remember correctly,
And
I have a little more detailed information we'll get into later, but I think it is supposed to happen during REM sleep.
Which is the first few minutes of sleep, right?
Yeah, when you're real deep into sleep, because that's when your body knows to like shut off movement to keep you safe, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. It would prolong, and then if I was sleeping next to someone, which basically this all started, when I was with my baby mama, she would shake me, like I would start, and it was weird because I knew
You're screaming
if I screamed loud enough, I'd wake her up, and she would shake me loose. Because then as soon as she would shake me loose, I'd be able to snap out of it. But I'd be like, because I can't form words. I can just like moan really loud, and it happens all the time.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
People tell me, like just the other day, I was at my aunt's with Jimmy and Henry boy, and Henry said, "Did y'all hear that dog whining?" It's like it was a dog getting attacked outside. I was like, no, that was me. And now, when it happens, I can kind of remember it too. Sometimes more so than others, but it's always scary because I feel like I can't get a breath.
Yeah.
And so I start trying to scream and hyperventilate, and sometimes I can finally force myself to shake free if I'm all alone, but it sucks.
Yeah.
It's not pleasant.
How long would you say this is last?
Like 20, 30 seconds.
Okay.
Sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's if you're feeling like you can't move and you can't breathe, that's a pretty traumatic 30 seconds. I would say.
Yeah.
I've heard the best way to sort of combat this is that's worked for me at least, and I've heard other people use this as a sort of tool against, but just get angry that you can't move, and you'll usually fucking like muster up the and you'll just shake yourself out of it basically.
Sometimes I try just focusing on moving my pinky or something, and try to start small, and then eventually I'll be able to lurch myself out of it, but it's a struggle.
Now, have you ever gone straight back to sleep after that?
Yeah, after the first couple of times.
Without snapping out of the, you're stuck there, and you're frozen, and it's like,
when it happens, I'll wake up. Sometimes I'll choke on my spit a little bit,
Okay.
So it sucks, and I'm normally awake for a while after that, and a lot of the time people can hear me wailing.
I wail in my sleep sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. Wail on people.
So that's pretty much it. A lot of people, say that they see or feel the presence of a form. I just feel paralyzed.
I've had the feeling of presence, and I do the
presence.
Not Christmas presents, but a malevolent presence in the room, or like I feel like there's a burglar or someone outside the window. I get that a whole lot. You have like the weird half asleep, half awake stage, like the hypnagogic stage, where you're kind of aware that you're dreaming, but not quite. I've seen all kinds of weird shit. I've seen
not quite lucid dreaming, but not quite.
Yeah. You're still kind of at the mercy of what's going on inside your mind, and the only and I hesitate to even say entity or whatever that I've seen, but is
intelligence.
What looks like a woman with her head snapped back all the way, like that, like kneeling by my bed. And I've only seen it twice, and the first time I saw it, I was like, "Oh, you fucking bitch!" and screamed it out. And then
devil.
Yeah, I was like the next day, I was like, that wasn't very nice of me. But you think of the human rules of engagement. Anybody kneeling by your bed is fucking weird. So there's that. But when I lived in my old apartment on M Streets, that's where I had the most of them. And that's because I was doing a lot of drugs at the time. And there was once when I just woke up in the middle of the night and heard what sounded like children laughing in the room right next to me, which was super fucking creepy for several days. And I've had other sort of hallucinatory experiences where I didn't have a fan on at all in the room, but I could hear paper moving around like this. And I swore, I don't know why my brain put it together like this, but I thought that something was folding in from Dimension 2 to steal me away, like origami masters from another world, but they were going to fold me up and like crack my bones to do it, like just the weird fear that takes over. Or I've seen things kind of go
Put
flat.
You in a briefcase?
Yeah, pretty much. Steal me away to their world. Or I've seen shit go flat and then kind of open up with like an eyelid behind it. Like if you were looking at the wall and just something like opened up like an eye. So those are the weirdest experiences I've had. But yeah, man, usually if you just sort of muster up your whatever, your pissed offness, or try to shake your big toe, etc., you'll get out of it. But we're going to go into a couple of different researchers here who are coming at this from different angles right after this break. So getting into a few different researchers who've looked into this topic specifically from different angles, you'll see who and what and where and why. We're going to go through a couple of researchers that, to be honest, unless you've experienced sleep paralysis, there's not a lot of meat on this bone. So we're trying to zhuzh it up as best we can.
Zhuzh?
Zhuzh? Zhuzh, is that the word?
Give it a little bam.
Zazz.
I don't even know what word you're trying to say.
Gonna zazz it up.
Zazz,
Give it a bam. Give it a peanut butter and jam. Green eggs and ham.
Bam! So the first up is Dr. Carla Turner. I did an episode on her way back. But
that's the first episode of the show I ever heard.
Thank you.
When I moved back to town,
I ended up mostly bitching about a guy by the name of David Jacobs, who's a alien abduction hypnotist, and my...
That's a hell of a job title.
Yeah. See, I don't want to give away too much from our next episode, but hypnosis is going to become a bit of a theme in that, because let's just say that if you're a hypnotist, people really only come to you to quit smoking or stop eating chicken or whatever the fuck, or to become a chicken, I guess. But
stop masturbating.
Yeah. So these hypnotists, they kind of have to supply themselves with something that will put them in more demand, I'll say. And that's all I'm going to say about that for now.
And encourage the narrative.
Yes. So Dr. Carla Turner, 1947 to 1996, was a noted American researcher, author, and one of the early figures in the study of the phenomenon of alien abductions, as well as its possible connection to sleep paralysis. Turner was originally an academic holding a PhD in English, quite useful, and teaching at the university level, which became increasingly focused on paranormal and unexplained phenomena after personal experiences and research into the subject of alien encounters. Dr. Turner's work centers around her research into the phenomenon of alien abductions and her exploration of the psychological and physical experiences that people who claim to have been abducted by extraterrestrials undergo. She was particularly interested in how these experiences might intersect with other phenomena, such as sleep paralysis. Turner's most well-known book, Into the Fringe, written in 1994, delves into her investigations of alien encounters and abductions, and in her writing, she contended that many abduction experiences may be linked to altered states of consciousness, including sleep paralysis, and that these experiences could represent a psychological or physical phenomenon that transcends mere fantasy or hallucinations. Turner was one of the researchers who suggested a possible connection between sleep paralysis and alien abduction experiences, quite possibly the first, one of the people who popularized it at least. She argued that what some people interpret as an extraterrestrial abduction could be influenced by these physical and psychological experiences. While Turner did not entirely dismiss the possibility of extraterrestrial involvement in abduction experiences, she was critical of the more sensationalized interpretations of such phenomena. Honestly, I would go back and listen to that episode. It's one of the better ones I did solo before I really knew what the fuck I was doing. But
I liked it.
We get into it. There's also a fella by the name of Father Sinistrari of Amino. Father Sinistrari, also known as Giovanni Francesco or Giovanni Sinistrari, was an Italian priest, theologian, and writer who lived during the 17th century, best known for his writings on demonic possession, witchcraft, and the supernatural. His most famous work is, and this is Italian, so I'm going to butcher it, De Demonialitate et Incubus et Succubus, or in English,
Demonialitate.
Yeah, on demonality and incubi and succubi, published in the year 1700, which explores the concept of demonic creatures, especially incubi, male demons that allegedly have sexual intercourse with women, or succubi, female demons that engage with men in similar ways.
This is a lot of people taking dreams seriously.
Yeah,
a lot of sex on the mind.
Especially if you're, let's say, a primitive
man,
Catholic man, yes, or woman. This shit can be scary to you. Yes, exactly.
When everything is the work of a demon, or
Oh yeah. Sinistrari's writings focused on the idea that demons, particularly incubi and succubi, could engage in sexual activity with humans, particularly during sleep. Now, I haven't got any specific anecdotal evidence of this, but allegedly, throughout his writing, is various cases in which he has recorded strange fluids left behind on people who've experienced.
Now, a strange fluid in 1700.
Yeah, it could be anything. Anything.
Could be any kind of ooze
not that one thing that you're probably thinking.
They just had a wet dream.
Yeah, or they could have had a leaking pustule on their ass from not having toilet paper.
It's weird too that it's not good.
You don't think these people might have just busted one in their sleep and then got called out on it? And they're like,
well,
it was a succubus.
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't me.
Yeah. If you look into pre-Christian Hebraic literature, I know you're very well versed on it. There's all kinds of fucking just insane shit about wet dreams and wet nightmares, etc. that it delves way into. And I don't know what it is about Judaism, but they were very fucking centralized on that, like fixed on that idea.
I do want us to eventually do a special on the Talmud and then the Old Testament.
We may do that.
and the Kabbalah, all the weird little Jewish cult offsets.
Yeah.
That's not Christianity, because that's one. They deny it, but
yeah,
it's there.
The little hats, I believe they're called. Is that a term that I shouldn't say?
No, we can say little hats.
Okay. Sleep paralysis occurs when a person is caught in the transition between sleep and wakefulness, often accompanied by vivid hallucinations and a sense of a malevolent presence. Victims might feel as if they are being held down, touched, or even assaulted, sometimes sexually assaulted, during the episodes, which can be terrifying and deeply disturbing. In Sinistrari's times, these sensations would likely have been interpreted as the
Sinistrari's times.
So
Sinistrari.
As the act, yeah, that's fucking hard to say.
Yeah.
I keep wanting to say Sinistari because it sounds like a cool supervillain name. They believe that demons in the form of incubi and succubi were engaging in sexual acts with them during these episodes, and the inability to move during such an event was seen as evidence of their supernatural influence.
The devil's holding
Now,
you
they're
down.
totally just blaming the fact that they have the human sexual urges that they're not supposed to have on something else.
Because it wouldn't be God that put those in you.
Boom, clear explanation.
Yeah.
Done.
Sinistrari's
You've been listening to Kooks, Cranks, and Iconoclasts.
Got to get your daily dose of religious snark.
Yeah.
Sinistrari's work, while focused on demonic possession, draws connections to experiences that many people today would describe as sleep paralysis. The notion of demonic entities visiting during sleep is consistent with modern experiences where people report vivid hallucinations or terrifying encounters during the paralysis phase of sleep. Now, there's one other fella that is another sort of researcher into this. His name is Nathaniel Gillis. He's kind of new on the scene, and he builds off a lot of this demonology stuff. I'm not going to go into his whole, what's it called, a VC, your resume on the guy or whatever, but he has this theory called necronetics, which is pretty interesting. It's called the theory of necronetics. It's a concept developed by Gillis, which combines ideas from paranormal research, human consciousness, and the study of sleep paralysis.
CV, that's what you're thinking.
VD, yeah. It's a fusion of the words necro, relating to death, and kinetics, meaning movement or action. And it is used to describe a theoretical framework that explores how the human mind might engage with or encounter entities or presences associated with death or the afterlife, particularly in the concept or context of sleep paralysis experiences. According to Gillis, necronetics suggests that certain paranormal entities encountered during sleep paralysis, such as shadowy figures like the Hat Man, or other otherworldly beings, may be mere hallucinations or products of the brain's natural response to sleep-related phenomena. Instead, they could represent a deeper, more metaphysical interaction between the living and the dead, or the conscious and unconscious mind. These entities might be tied to the unconscious mind's processing of death, mortality, or existential fears, more or less. Gillis theorizes that these experiences could be tied to metaphysical transmissions, quote-unquote, or forms of quote-unquote energy that might exist between the living and the deceased, or, conversely, the awake and the dreaming. So essentially, he suggests that sleep paralysis could serve as a doorway or a liminal space, because that's a super popular thing right now with what the back rooms and all that. Liminal space where the boundary between life and death or between physical and non-physical realms becomes permeable. So in this framework,
where the veil is thin.
Yes, where the veil is thin.
Ooh, got
like my hair.
Grease in my ear.
God damn.
Well, you must have ate the shit out of that
Well, they
thing.
say eat it or wear it, and I did both.
In this framework, necronetics isn't just about investigating sleep paralysis through a lens of neurological science alone. It proposes that paranormal entities could be seen as manifestations of the human psyche's attempt to grapple with death, mortality, the afterlife, etc., potentially providing insight into the nature of consciousness itself. It touches on questions like, what happens to consciousness after death? Could some entities encountered in sleep paralysis be related to the spirits of the deceased, or some aspect of human consciousness that transcends the physical body? And with more and more that they're finding out about quantum biology and the things that certain parts of our brains, microtubules, the eyes, sensory processing that's kind of being found out. Yeah, dude. I mean, it's insane. Y-Files just did a quantum biology episode, and there's some crazy shit in there, man. But this theory, while speculative, blends aspects of psychology, parapsychology, and metaphysical thinking, offering a unique perspective on the experiences associated with sleep paralysis. Now, unlike a lot of other podcasts who mostly just try to scare you, we will give you the keys to how to defend yourself against alien abduction.
Oh,
you heard it right here, folks.
Okay,
that's right.
Because I'm actually just looking at the encyclopedia version of what sleep paralysis is and what may or may not cause it. And
yeah.
You know what one of the main cures for it is?
What's that?
A good night's sleep.
How ironic.
Yeah.
Heavy stuff.
It seems one of the main theories is that lack of sleep, stress, and other things, mostly the lack of sleep, is your body's in a confused state of which hormones and what parts of the brain to shut on and shut off at the same time. And sometimes when it's in that state, the wires get crossed.
Yep.
It's basically you're discombobulated, you're tired, you're stressed, you haven't been fucking taking care of yourself, you're not eating right, you're doing drugs, you're fucking,
I was about to say that.
Tweaked out, fucked up.
Tweaked out, fucked out.
Doped up.
Probably a little horny, fucking...
pockmarked, heat rashed.
All of those things...
Zip-zopping all over.
Seem to be the logical reasoning.
Yeah, when I had the most experiences with sleep paralysis, it was while I was abusing opiates. And it's weird because when I got into a really heavy opiate, session, whatever you want to call it, on using them, I never really slept fully. You don't. You get like a weird... Yeah, you just kind of pass out, or maybe you'll nod out for a bit, but you're not really sleeping like restful sleep. So, yeah, that's when I had them the most.
Like you blink your eyes and 2 hours have gone by.
Exactly. Missing time. So, to defend yourself against alien abductions, this comes from a book called, oddly enough, How to Defend Yourself Against Alien Abductions, written by Anne Druffel. And there are several methods that are discussed that individuals can use to protect themselves from alleged alien abduction.
Like to hear it, here it goes.
Yeah. Well, the book primarily focuses on the abduction phenomena as it has been reported by those who believe they've been targeted by extraterrestrial beings. It also delves...
targeted individual alert.
Yeah. Oh, you got the snark in there, too. Those who believe. It also delves into psychological and practical strategies to defend yourself against these perceived intrusions. Some of the key methods mentioned include mental and emotional preparation. Druffel suggests that individuals prepare themselves mentally by becoming more aware of the potential for abduction and strengthening their psychological resilience. This includes developing a sense of self-empowerment, confidence, get confident, stupid, and control over their own mind and body.
Take a meditation
That's
practice.
interesting that you say that, because as you're saying this, I'm looking at under the thing, one of the things that causes the most hallucinations during sleep paralysis is what is called threat hypervigilance mode.
Yes.
So when you're preparing,
I know about some of that.
So actually, it sounds like preparing for the aliens might actually make you hallucinate the aliens.
It says, well, that could probably go either way, actually. It says to have a sense of preparedness, like, okay, I could possibly get abducted. I just have to be ready for it. Maybe also keep a baseball bat by your bed. I mean, you should probably just do that anyways.
Shotgun.
Shotgun.
Loaded 357 under the pillow.
I had a dream. I ate a really hot tamale. Affirmations and positive visualizations. One method proposed in the book is the use of affirmations and positive visualization techniques.
I'm good enough.
I'm smart enough. And doggone it.
People like me.
People seem to stand me. Druffel encourages individuals to create strong affirmative statements about their safety and control over their environments and experiences.
And that's okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Smalley.
Well, isn't that special?
Smalley! Y'all remember when Martin Lawrence was on Stuart Smalley?
No.
It was fantastic.
Did you say the words exploding head syndrome?
No, but that's kind of what I was talking about earlier.
Okay, I'm just looking at these differential
where you have like a
diagnosis that are similar. It says exploding head syndrome
had that after watching Scanners.
Is an abnormal sensory perception during sleep in which a person experiences auditory hallucinations that are loud and of short duration when falling asleep or waking up. Noise may be frightening, typically only occurs occasionally, and is not a serious health concern, but exploding head syndrome just sounds fucking sick.
Yeah.
That sounds like a band.
Okay, I'm okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's similar to how I was talking about, I get it in high school a lot, where I fall asleep at my desk and then just have the sensation I'm falling and wake up and be like, oh, fuck shit, and just snap to and have an awkward moment where everyone looks at me.
Damn, and... yeah, nightmare disorder.
I'm not hard, you are.
That's a diagnosis.
I'll kill you, Leonard Nimoy. Let's see. Visualizing oneself protected by a shield of light or surrounded by a powerful protective force is seen as a way...
I'm in my safety bubble. You can't get me.
I got both my crystals.
Foster inner strength and deter any negative or unwanted encounters. Psychic defense and energy protection. Druffel touches on the idea of using psychic defense strategies to block alien influence. This might involve invoking spiritual or metaphysical protection from higher powers if you're weird like that, such as guides, angels, saints, etc., or other protective forces. The book also mentions the concept
anything other than try and get laid, right?
The book also mentions the concept of using energy shields to protect oneself from unwanted interference, white light, all that shit. There is a reoccurring thing all throughout ufology that
they never get laid.
Becoming, some of them do. You might meet a cool UFO chick. I don't know. But there's this. It's growing in popularity that when you call upon the name of God or Jesus during an abduction, that it stops it. And there's been stories of like aliens showing up, and as soon as someone mentions God or Jesus, like they leave, and
they're like, "Oh, you're fucking retarded."
Yeah, what does that make?
It's like
me?
A no soliciting sign.
I do the same goddamn thing. Like as soon as someone brings up God or Jesus, it's like, all right, I gotta go.
Okay.
So am I an alien?
Yeah,
probably. Astro bastard.
Here is a cool piece of art for the fucking...
is it the little midget guy on the...
Yeah, The Nightmare.
Yeah.
From the Nightmare by Swiss artist Henry Fuseli is thought to depict sleep paralysis with a demonic visitation.
Because you're silly.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool piece of art.
Yeah, I was going to draw a dick on it and make it our photo for the show.
Okay.
Physical safety measures. Some suggestions in the book focus on physical techniques to help individuals feel safer. This can include making physical changes to the environment around them, such as placing protective symbols or objects in their home or sleeping area. I sleep next to a big dream catcher, but I've taken it down and haven't really noticed a difference. So
might have got full.
Yeah, maybe. Gotta take it out and squeeze it outside.
Yeah, some take it to the dumpster.
Yeah, some individuals may also use specific rituals or symbols that they believe offer protection against alien encounters. Yeah, and we'll come back to some sigil stuff as well.
Sacred handguns.
You're gonna say sacred hand jobs.
That too.
Yeah, it also helps to
if you just rub one out before you go to bed.
I was about to say evoke an emission.
Yeah,
Priapus.
Yeah, it's like if you don't want to get sucked off by the succubus in your sleep, then maybe just
empty yourself out.
Be empty.
Sorry, succubus, these balls are drained.
Beat you to it. Keeping a journal, a dream journal. This is so you can go back and sort of recollect your thoughts and see if one dream stops somewhere and starts again somewhere else. So you can kind of get an idea or track what the fuck is happening in your sleep. which I've often thought about doing, but also...
I've kept a dream journal for 27 years.
Really?
No.
Oh.
Stupid.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid.
No, yeah, I thought about it because, like, sometimes you'll have dreams that are very complex and seem to have their own, like, inner world and workings to them, and it's like how you know people a certain way, or, like, you see backstory to things in your dreams. So it's odd, the level of complexity that our brain can incorporate into dreams. Like, it's like you've already dreamed up something that's entirely written by script almost. So those are the methods for protecting yourself against alien abduction. However, we're going to talk about something that plays into this. As I mentioned, sigils and blacklight alien jizz.
Well, what can I do to make my punches land? Because I have that. That's the only, like, none of this has, like,
I have something like that.
But all I have is the stereotypical, like, your dream, when you punch in your dreams, the hits don't do nothing. Yeah. And then I've many, like, this is reoccurring, and get all Freudian with it if you want. The fucking gun doesn't fire. Like, you pull the gun, and I go to shoot, and it doesn't fire. But
the gun's your dick.
The one dream I will talk about.
The gun is
the bullet. Dick. The bullet is your parents.
It's always my penis, yes. And
was this before or after vasectomy?
For years, way before.
Okay.
No, yeah,
just checking.
The actual fertility of me makes no difference whatsoever. But yes, the always trying to shoot somebody in the gun. It's usually a post-apocalyptic survival situation, and I pull a gun.
You seem to have a preoccupation with that.
That's hardcore.
I enjoy it. I don't know. I think
the real me comes out.
I think I would thrive. Other than not being able to be clean and shower all the time, but. Anyway.
Or contact lenses or medications.
I only had one dream where the fucking gun worked. And that was the white rabbit dream. That's why I have my wife. That was the only dream I've ever put any kind of thought into is that one, because I'm like, wow, the gun worked in this dream.
Huh.
And it was to shoot the white rabbit with the BB gun. And I shot it, and then I picked it up, and it had a hole in it, and I picked it up, the motherfucker's moving around and shit. And anyway.
Snapped its neck?
Huh?
You snap its neck?
No, I was thinking I needed to shoot it again, and then the gun didn't work. But
it's wabbit season.
But then I thought that's what was special is I shot it and I tried to kill it. That's why in the dream,
don't kill your wife.
My wife was the rabbit.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, that's why I stopped trying to shoot it at the end. And we're married now.
Hey, all right. Maybe it was a prophecy.
Yeah.
Who knows?
But yeah, that's the only stereo is like the punches don't land, the gun don't go off.
I get where I'm trying to run either to or from something, and I can't run.
Yeah,
like
the running.
I start lifting off the ground.
Yeah, you're just heavy, and you're like...
You can't get any purchase off the ground. I'll start, like, floating and shit, kind of.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's like also, no real resistance.
I have lots of dreams about levitating all over the place, too, though.
I've never had no flying, though. Yeah.
So, yeah, this is an article called The Afterglow of the UFO Abduction Experience. Fluorescent markings found on claimants of alien or extraterrestrial contact by Eve Lorgan, M.A. What does M.A. mean?
Massive asshole?
Maybe. I don't know. She writes a lot about the intersection between aliens.
Oh, M.A. is her qualifier.
Yeah.
Her, medical
associates, medical ass,
medical associate's degree or something.
Medicinal ass.
Yeah, because there's the MD, MDA, MD. It's all the different variances of how far you made it in medical school.
Right.
As far as I know.
Yeah, she writes a lot about the intersection between love and sexuality and alien experiences. She will come up again down the road on this show. Article says, how often have you heard about the aftermath of the classical alien abduction experience? A UFO sighting, missing time, unusual body marks, dreamlike memories of large black-eyed alien creatures, and varying degrees of post-traumatic stress? But, on the other hand, have you ever heard about the afterglow of the alien abduction experience? I have a feeling there's going to be some sexual innuendo in here as well. Daryl Sims, chief investigator of UFO abductions for Houston UFO Network, or HUFON, discovered unusual fluorescent markings on numerous abductees who claimed alien contact. According to Sims, he got the idea from his research and the fact that fluorescence, a luminescent light emission in the presence of an ultraviolet black light energy source, was observed in many of the cattle mutilation investigations thought to be associated with UFO activity. Sims' intuition proved to be right on target. Daryl's investigations revealed fluorescent markings on various body sites of abductees in approximately 5% of his abduction cases. as something from the natural environment, some offending agent such as cosmetics, laundry detergent, or even dog urine. Dried dog urine fluoresces upon UV radiation. I think you have direct experience with that.
What's up?
UV lights showing dog piss.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Dried dog urine, fluoresces upon UV irradiation, and landlords will routinely check their tenants' living quarters with a black light to check for evidence of dog piss.
Well, and all the old hotel exposés.
Yeah.
Don't go in my room. It'll be like a Jackson Pollock.
No, that was a big thing.
Blinded there.
It was like the TV, like not 2020s or Datelines, but like the lower level local ones.
Yeah.
Would be like, we went to check out this hotel. And
hard
there
copy,
was fucking,
stuff like that.
hard copy. There was
And
jizz.
they cut back to the
everywhere.
presenter,
Yeah, but if they
and he's
go to
just
their own-
glowing. He just covered in goo.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if they go to their own fucking bed with that black light, they'd, still be all the colors of the rainbow.
I mean, unless they wash their sheets like a normal person.
There's many colors in the jism rainbow. Simple innocuous things such as the paper-like tags sewn onto clothing necklines contain fluorescent whiteners that can leach into the skin subdermally. I noticed this accidental fluorescence one morning. Interfering substances such as these must be ruled out when investigating for fluorescence due to alleged alien contact.
So is this woman
can't
just...
they analyze those squirt stains?
Was this woman just getting up every morning and putting herself under a black light to see if she got alien jizz on her?
Well, it's this dude, Daryl Sims, the hoof on guy. Like, he's checking, he's checking out these alleged alien abductees, and he's saying he's ruling out dog piss and things of this nature. However, if this fluorescence was a genuine artifact left behind inadvertently by the alien abductors, then what valuable information could be extrapolated about the mysterious alien presence?
He slimed me.
Yeah, exactly.
He slimed me.
It says she reviewed Daryl's fluorescence findings from several other abductees and constructed a chart, which I don't have here, but I'll include the link to where you can go check out the chart.
Oh, he published the chart.
Yeah. The findings were startling. The primary fluorescence found on abductees following an abduction appeared in the yellow-green region of the visible spectrum. Body sites included portions of the arms, shoulder, ears, breasts, legs, hands, chin, chest, and even inside the mouth. Most of the fluorescence was subdermal.
It's like when girls leave the bleach spots in their panties.
Bleach spots?
What?
Yeah, like
when you get your anus breached?
No, I get it's a phenomenon, but like a pair of black panties, the crotchal region will bleach out sometimes.
Oh,
from natural secretions?
Natural bleach, yeah.
Okay.
I bet that shit glows too.
It's like salty or something. It's like the salts.
I got to get one of those black
microorganisms.
Yeah.
Etc.
Well, also, we could also look at the armpits of my black shirts.
Yeah.
It does the same thing.
I have some crusty-ass armpit shirts.
Yeah, they get like a little bleached out looking, little white. They're not like bleach, but it's definitely a lightening of the black.
In one case, a dime-sized marking on the palm was rigorously massaged and fluorescence diffused into the massaged areas of the hand and fingers and remained subdermal. An unusual reddish-pink fluorescence was discovered on the hands, fingers, palms, and neck regions of an abductee who recalled handling and cuddling alien human-infant hybrids during her encounter. White fluorescence was found in the mouth, oral mucous membranes, and tongue.
Oral mucous membrane.
Blue fluorescence was observed on the hands and on the arms in unusual heart-shaped Mandelbrot designs. That's a fractal for those who aren't familiar with the term. Markings such as the crescent, triangle, and heart-shaped Mandelbrot appeared as if they were deliberate designs or brands, or sigils, if you will, maybe, on certain individuals. But in general, most of the fluorescence was found as irregular splotching. All fluorescence was visualized using a commercially available UV short and long wave blacklight source in a darkened area.
They bought
the stain looks like Castro.
They bought it at Spencer's Gifts.
Yeah,
it's
probably.
just the fucking the blacklight poster light. The
They used to have a
regular
badass
poster.
Iron Maiden Number of the Beast blacklight posters.
Like
Fucking
I'm
sick.
sure they had the sick gnome sitting on a mushroom poster right by where they're checking for this fucking alien.
Yeah,
juice.
and the hookah smoking grasshopper sitting on a toadstool. Yeah.
The old caterpillar. Most fluorescence faded within 1 to 4 days following the alleged alien encounter. I don't know how many showers are being taken in between this, but
That's the number one question.
You hold a cigarette up to a black light. It's got like 4 different. You have like orange specks and red specks and blue specks and green specks just on the paper.
I want to get a black light now.
After reviewing Daryl's findings, she asked, "Why fluorescence? Are the aliens or whomever is handling the abductees bioluminescent? Are they deliberately using
goo?
Are they deliberately using fluorescent labels to mark the abductees?" To understand fluorescence's uses, a simplified overview of fluorescence is described herein. On a chemical level, when a luminescent substance absorbs certain forms of chemical energy or light, often in the UV range, its electronic configuration is excited to a higher energy level, after which it returns to its ground state, along with excess energy. This excess energy is released as a quantum of light. Fluorescence. Otherwise known
It's like those stamps they put you on at Six Flags when you have to go out to your car.
Yeah.
You know?
Or raves, if you went to those back in the day when they used to exist. Probably still do, I guess. I don't know. I have no reason going to one now. Let's see. Luminescent substances or fluorophores can exist in biological organisms as bioluminescence, in chemical reactions as chemoluminescence, and as direct fluorescence, whereby the excitation source of energy is direct light, i.e. UV. In bioluminescent organisms, such as the firefly, certain fungi, worms, and marine life, emission of fluorescence is activated by a biochemical process rather than direct light energy.
Those scorpions you had?
Yeah, those were fucking crazy.
Yeah, scorpions will definitely glow under black light.
Glow blue. It's all fucking crazy. Yeah, psychedelic.
I want to get some more of those. That was fun. That was the last time I had a black light, was just because I had that aquarium full of fucking scorpions.
Yeah, they were all like green and blue. It was fucking insane.
Yeah, it looked really neat at night when they were walking around.
An example of chemoluminescence is true phosphorescence, whereby the greenish glow is a result of the element phosphorus reacting with oxygen in the air. Direct fluorescence can be observed with organic fluorophores and with naturally occurring minerals such as willemite, feldspar, and uranium minerals. There are a myriad of organic fluorescent compounds. What's up?
Phosphorus? It's in your pee, too.
That's right. Yeah.
That's how they discovered it.
Make gunpowder back in the day. And shit. Yeah.
Saltpeter.
The Gong Men. It's also in aromatic dyes, certain drugs, petroleum oils, fats, and fluorescent labels and probes. In the biotechnology industry alone, there are hundreds of fluorescent probes, the most common use being labeling of cells and biomolecules, such as DNA, or that shit they make you drink when you go to get your colon oscopied. Based on her knowledge...
You mean barium?
I think so, yeah.
Like barium traces where they inject the dye in your...
Yeah. The dye stuff they inject you with. She says that Sims' findings on abductees can suggest several things. Fluorescent contamination of substances in the abductees' natural environment. These things can be ruled out by checking for fluorescence with a blacklight on the individual's home and work environment. If the fluorescence is subdermal, then the offending agent has the ability to diffuse into the skin, such as an oil or a solvent. The cyclic aromatic nature of organic fluorophores enable them to attract to oil-like tissues, hence a reason for subdermal diffusion ability. The irregular splotching suggests possible handling by alleged alien entities, as if the fluorescence were transmitted due to a naturally occurring or contaminating component, i.e. the fluorophore they may mark abductees with, from the alien skin. An alien fingerprint, quote-unquote, if you will. Fluorescence has also been reported on mutilated cattle, and this I have seen before. Not in person, but on videos and such on the YouTubes. However, the source and mechanisms of this fluorescent phenomenon may be different from what we observe on abductees. The design patterns, such as the crescent, the mandelbrot, and other unique markings suggest a possible application, identification, or marking of fluorescent material on the bodies of abductees. Some mutilated cattle associated with UFO activity are believed to be pre-marked before surgical incisions. Anomalous fluorescence of substances not normally fluorescent may be due to electronic transitions from high energy levels, such as interdimensional shifts. I don't know how you measure that, but
that was definitely an interdimensional shift.
Yes. Yep. One more.
Just I think I felt one.
Yep. They keep happening. Fluorescent design marks found on abductees are probably some type of organic fluorescent material used by the abduction handlers, quote-unquote, as evidenced by their fluorescence and their ability to diffuse into the subdermal layers of the skin Most of the fluorescents seen on abductees post-abduction are subdermal, yellowish green, or bluish lavender irregular splotch marks. This suggests a contamination of the fluorophore used as markers by the aliens, albeit sloppy lab technique. More interestingly, a naturally occurring fluorescent residue transmitted from alien skin, perhaps a unique form of bioluminescence or from other sac-like
so not
biological...
only do they glow, but they like kind of excrete it, supposedly?
Yeah, it could be like their sweat or other secretions. They're not saying jizz, which I commend them for doing.
There's certain cactus that when you cut them, they glow under a black light too in the cut part.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that glow.
According to some cattle mutilation research, a luminescent substance was found marked on the surgically excised areas of the cattle. Whether or not this is the same fluorescent material observed on the abductees is unknown at this time. To make a clearer assessment of what is truly happening and what these fluorescent substances are would require a costly analytical qualitative analysis.
So it's never happened.
Yeah.
So they never...
Not with hoof on
they're like,
or any of these guys.
We found this bioluminescent liquid on these people.
Yeah.
We didn't test it, though. That's expensive. We can't do that. I mean,
kind of labs and lab coats and
if anyone
Bunsen burners.
Trust us.
Yeah, trust me, bro. If say like what's his name, the guy who Bob Bigelow. Say if a Bob Bigelow maybe heard about this, he might shell some dough out for some lab tests. But what will it take for the scientific community? That's funny that you guys predicted this a little bit. What will it take for the scientific community and the world at large to believe that alien abductions are happening right under our noses? It will take more than scientific facts, credibility, and witnesses to prove aliens
that would be enough.
Out there.
That would be enough.
Yeah.
You know, it's weird that first-hand accounts and anecdotal evidence from people is allowed in court, but not allowed really in this realm. I don't know. I guess it's just the credibility of the person.
Well, I mean,
person to person.
If you're saying a little green man came down, paralyzed me in my sleep, jacked me off, and then fucking cut my cow out in the pasture's dick off with the same knife, and then licked it and kissed me a little bit, and then went away. That's a different story than I saw Greg fucking steal the lawnmower out of my neighbor's garage.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a different account.
Extraordinary claims
because everybody knows evidence. Greg be stealing lawnmowers, so it's not out of the realm of possibility that Greg went into the fucking garage to steal my lawnmower to go fucking pawn it for meth, or if it was an old timey thing, crack. You know,
back in ye olden times.
Call back.
Call back on crack.
So yeah, outside of sleep paralysis, looking into this is a very strange kind of like, you know, I just read a thing about alien jizz under black lights. So I mean, this led me to some weird places. There's two particular diseases that came up. One is fatal familial insomnia. This is the opposite of sleep paralysis to a degree in that you do not fucking sleep. You just stop, like when you hit your 20s, 30s probably, you just stop sleeping. You get insomnia.
Some people call that drive.
Does that tie? Well,
call that being on the old grind.
But that also ties in with people with like schizophrenia a lot, doesn't it?
Not necessarily.
No, this is even way more rare. Than
it's a rare genetic disorder.
Okay,
it's like you don't sleep for 3 years and you just die of multi.
Yeah, but I was about to say that it leads to death and complete insanity.
Oh yeah,
yes, most definitely. You lose your fucking mind. You're probably going to be in a hospital setting.
I think I did 3 days one time of no sleep.
I believe 11 is the record.
Was it? I don't know. Oh, of human.
I
had 5.
I think we did 3 to 5. Like. I was 17 and I went 3 to 5 days.
Yeah,
with maybe like an hour of sleep.
I think I've got about 3 to 5 somewhere in there, and
things are bad.
The lines between reality and hallucination definitely start to blur.
And the shadow people are real.
Yeah,
well, they're not real. Actually,
what the fuck was that?
Yeah, your peripheral vision. Like mine, at least, like in those times.
Yeah, it's always in the peripheral. You see someone walking up, and then
it's not.
And it's not just like people. Like if I came at, like I'd usually be staring at a computer screen because I'm not going to mince words here. I was probably on amphetamines and looking at pornography and doing what you do. But that light, it's like leaving a movie theater, and when you go outside, yes, sound of one hand fapping. Like when you go outside of a movie theater, your eyes readjust. Well, readjusting from that light, man, I would see all kinds of like weird fucking tentacles and jellyfish arms and shit. And
I
just
saw people crossing the street to come into my yard just over and over again before.
Our buddy who used to come to my house high on cocaine sometimes, man, he
always thought it was his parents.
Yeah, he was constantly freaking out.
That and that white F-150, man. It's like the white F-150's been following us all day. It's like, bro, we're living in Dallas, Texas. Every other truck is a white F-150.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, my half brother believes that every car that has the paper dealer plates on them are spying on him. And he freaks out every time he sees one.
He's got schizophrenia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you still talk to him at all? Or?
No.
No contact?
He's out. That's right. He got out of prison.
Yeah.
Years ago.
Been back in, yeah.
Oh.
He's got a good woman.
No, that's good.
Taking care of him.
Yeah. Medications? Hope so.
Yeah.
Other than fatal familial insomnia, there is another disease called SUNS, which I don't have in front of me.
Not daughters.
I seem to have not SIDS, but close.
Sudden underwater,
sudden unexpected nocturnal death syndrome, I believe it is. And this is what actually inspired Wes Craven to create Freddy Krueger. This is another very rare genetic disease.
I did look a little bit into that when you mentioned it yesterday.
It mostly affects people of...
Wrong number, bitch.
Bitch. He said bitch a lot. Weird. I wouldn't think like a demonic nightmare monster would use the word bitch very much.
Well, he was also a pedophile.
That's true. Oh, I forgot about that. He's also the bastard son of 1,000 maniacs.
In true canon, he's a pedophile. In the movie, they let it slide that he let him just be a child murderer.
Right.
Because that's not as gross.
Was there a book or something before?
No, but if you Wes Craven
he just became such a popular character.
The original draft of Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street, he was a child pedo.
Yeah.
And
his mom was a nun who worked in an insane asylum and was GR'd by 1,000 maniacs. And that's
on a
how he was
moonlit
born.
night, yeah.
Yeah, that's Freddy Krueger's origin.
The veil was thin.
Yeah.
But the real life origin, this SUNS disease was affecting a specific ethnicity of people known as the Hmong people, who are like I believe a tribal subset from China and Vietnam.
I was about to say Vietnam.
More like Laos, yeah.
Yeah, Laos
there.
too.
Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
Ocean.
And yeah. And it was specifically afflicting these people, and there was a news report about it in San Francisco where there's a large population of Hmong people, and Wes Craven read about it. These people were having nightmares and night terrors and dying in their fucking sleep. So I don't know if you're Hmong, fucking, and one of our listeners, good on you for listening to us, first of all, and second of all, I hope you don't have it, because that's totally fucked. I don't know if this affects.
Fucked.
I didn't see anything about it affecting outside. It's called.
Now, was there any? I didn't get to look. Was there any research that showed these people might have been exposed to Agent Orange or other chemicals before they came here?
A lot of these people were affected.
This was around that time period where there were a lot of refugees. From the Vietnam War in America.
This could have had a chemical component as well. I think they did look into that. I didn't see anything about it like affecting anyone outside of this ethnicity, though. So it's what's called like a culture-bound syndrome. There's all kinds of weird-ass culture-bound syndromes. Like there's Kuru in Africa. Like certain tribes get it where they think their penis is shrinking, or women get it and they think their breasts are disappearing.
It is shrinking.
Well, that's all the chemicals that RFK is going to take out of our food, hopefully soon, and we'll all be big dicks.
That'd be good if you did.
Yeah. Do it, RFK.
They already banned Red 3.
They did?
Just this week.
Yeah.
But it turns out it had been banned in the cosmetics industry for many years already.
Yeah.
But
Killed a bunch of monkeys.
In the food, it was fine. And now they still have, I think, 3 years before they actually have to get it out.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm all for that.
Yeah, I'm tired of my dick shrinking.
That one segment of RFK's plan, whatever, I'm all for.
Yeah. Something good needs to come out of this.
There's videos on YouTube where like a person from the UK will go in an American grocery store and be just like ban. It's like you can make Skittles with beet juice and fucking the yellow stuff like saffron and plant dyes and stuff that are totally natural, totally safe. They're just not as bright and eye-catching.
Yeah, organic
But
shit
then what
that
else
they've
are
been
we going to
using
do
for
with all
centuries.
these extra petrochemical byproducts?
Yeah, and toxic
we
heavy
gotta
metal
use 'em.
leachates. Yeah.
I mean, fuck.
I love
If
them,
we're not eating them, they're
personally.
going to go into the groundwater.
I want them injected right into me.
Yeah.
That's all I know. So I'm going to close out with something I found that has to do with the aforementioned dreams of flying, and where stories from ancient witchcraft and UFO abductions sort of overlap, because a lot of this played into, once again, this led me on some rabbit holes, and like we said, the sleep paralysis meat is very thin unless you've experienced yourself, but like some of this stuff kind of helps illustrate a little bit to it.
I experienced it, and I still think it's just
Fucking awful.
your brain shut off.
Oh, yeah. Well,
It's just wires are getting crossed.
Yep. I mean, and that's what we tell ourselves, because to accept these other alternatives
I do
means
like
that we don't.
It's a big stretch, too.
I
It's
do
like, could
like
this be my brain firing off, or could there be a demon that visits me in my sleep?
Yeah, or the parallel universe thing. I like the parallel universe.
And what we know about altered states of consciousness, I mean, DMT, once again, that's an altered state of consciousness, and all these people who've never met and associated with each other.
I personally saw the gnomes.
Yeah.
I've never thought I would identify with any of that stuff, but you know what? I saw those gnomes.
People encounter entities under altered states of consciousness, so maybe like this hypnagogic state is something like that. And I've seen weird like dwarf type things in my hypnagogic state, so who knows? But the lore surrounding the mythical witches Sabbat and contemporary reports of UFO abductions share three main characteristics, and you'll see these in like dream kind of mythology or archetypal Jungian psychology, shit like that. But the three elements that show up a lot are the use of masks, the appearance of men in black, and references to flight and abduction. These three commonalities with particular focus on the aspect of flight and abduction have to do with narratives of the witches Sabbat and UFO abductions, which share the same basic structure, common symbolism, and serve the same psychological needs of providing a coherent explanation for ambiguous experiences, let's say. Something that, here's a readily available explanation for what may be going on, especially with the more wild instances when shit's really fucking weird.
Yeah.
So the use of masks, according to some investigators, devil/warlocks of the Sabbat ritual, they were sort of hidden behind a mask that represented a primitive god or animal spirits. UFO abductees of varying reliability. That's keywords there. Varying reliability. Have also reported that masks, quote unquote, are worn by the abductors. With respect to the popular conceptualization of the gray extraterrestrial, i.e. pear-shaped head with large black eyes, some abductees claim that the eyes seemingly move behind the large black expanses as though the large eyes were covering the real eyes. Men in black or other evil colors. Now, you're going to hear the phrase black man.
Black Friday, Black Tuesday.
But that means jet black man, like a shadow man.
All right, this is already making me think about now one of the new hottest items out.
Yeah,
is the Diddy mask.
Terrifying.
It's a balaclava, but with Diddy's face printed on it.
Is the mouth open all the time?
No, it's not open. It's just Diddy face. So
Diddy face.
Yeah, goddamn.
Why are you making that Diddy face?
Yeah, we got to get those and then just start abducting people in the middle of the night.
Yeah, that would be
I've
hilarious.
seen a Yay mask.
I've seen the Yay. Yeah.
It says, in witchcraft tradition, the devil and or his attendants sometimes visit potential converts dressed conservatively, usually black clothes and hats, and would behave in a cold and awkward manner that frightened anyone unfortunate enough to be in the neighborhood. UFO tradition also includes ominous visits by cold and socially awkward men, i.e. reportedly eating Jell-O with a fork, have to be shown how to open doors.
He's eating his peas one at a time.
with a knife, dressed in conservative black suits and often driving large black automobiles. The quote-unquote MIB reportedly deliver covert or overt messages that the UFO investigators should desist in their UFO investigations or else terrible consequences, almost always unspecified, will follow.
And never fulfilled.
It'd be a shame if something
or something bad just
happened.
happens. Yeah, and it's like, oh shit.
Has there ever been
They
anybody
said
that had
something
the
bad was
MIBs come to them and then they defy the MIBs? I guess we wouldn't hear from them because they'd be dead.
Yeah. That's kind of I don't know. And most of the people that we do hear about MIB encounters from are of, let's say, questionable mental health status, namely Albert Bender.
What a polite way to put that.
Yeah, well, I'm nothing if not diplomatic. And the final kind of concurrent factor in these two, UFO abductions and witchcraft flight lore is flight or teleportation, which is documented in a number of alleged incidents in which witches and strangers are encountered by quote-unquote innocent men who find themselves teleported to the Sabbat involuntarily. After uttering an oath to God, Jesus, or the Virgin Mary, the quote-unquote innocents find themselves stranded hundreds of miles from home. These stories have a modern parallel in UFO literature where individuals or even entire families, including children, have found themselves, and sometimes even the vehicle they were driving, hundreds or even thousands of miles from home after allegedly being taken aboard a UFO. Many, but not all, UFO abductees report that they were beamed on board the craft by a ray of light or floated into the craft after being touched or exposed to some instrument. In some cases, the UFO occupants first came to the percipients in a light beam. Once the witches or the involuntary abductees to the Sabbat or the UFO reach the point of destination, there also appears to be similarities in the physical rituals and cathartic episodes surrounding both encounters, i.e., people getting poked and prodded with various instruments, physical examinations of a sexual or medically experimental nature, we'll say.
Checking all the orifices.
Yeah, getting up in all them holes. In particular, both emphasize riding through the air, transportation to an exotic place, a ceremony on an altar or medical table, sexual undertones, and implicit rebellion against authority. These similarities appear to be more than coincidental, according to this academic paper that I got this from, which will also be included in the show notes. Yeah. That's sleep paralysis, man. I'm hoping we did something a little different than everything else you've heard on it, because like I said, I can't sit around and just listen to someone's dreams. That would be...
It's pretty... No. It's just,
yeah. I'm not going to do it in real life, and I'm not going to make our wonderful, wonderful listeners do it either. Anything to add, gentlemen?
I don't... I could use a nap, see if I can get paralyzed.
Sounds restful.
Well, that kind of goes, how you say you never had it. It kind of goes with how you're always feeling like, nothing ever gets to
Impervious.
you. You're a low stress kind of guy.
Your false bravado.
You're not eaten up by anxiety.
It's not false. This bravado is here.
Right. That's what I tell myself.
Well, I mean, no, but yeah, I've never had that. So it's like,
yeah, mine would always come to me. Primarily when I'm extremely stressed out or distressed.
That mostly drugs for me is when I had them, but they were fucking weird, man.
Sometimes those two overlap.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Sobriety is when I've had my most when I'm severely sober.
Hey, I know exactly what you mean.
Are the times when dreams have affected me the most? Usually after like a lot of exercise, a lot of physical labor or physical exercise, and actually getting a good conk out sleep where like people aren't waking me up. Yeah. Those are the only times I have like real hardcore dreams. Really, I don't even think I dream that much anymore. I don't know.
If I have any, I guess advice for anyone out there who may or may not be experiencing these, either way, take this with a grain of salt, and for free or not, take it, don't take it. But if anyone or anything wakes you up, just start throwing punches. And that's all you need to know. That should keep you very safe.
Yeah.
And moving forward in the new year, there you go. So yeah, this is Kooks, Cranks, and Iconoclasts. I'm your host, Mike, and as always, I'm joined by...
Get laid. Oh, Spencer Lowry.
And Christopher Wells. You could check us out on the social... Our Instagram is intact, but we can't use it right now.
Yeah,
so
we're still in the middle of that.
It was hacked, so we're trying to get it back. We have a Facebook page.
Yep, check out our
get
Facebook.
On there.
Check out our YouTube.
So
probably upload some relevant pictures from this podcast on our Facebooks.
Yeah, I took pictures of you both sleeping several nights ago. I'm gonna load those up. So yeah,
is that why I was glowing when I woke up?
Probably. Wait,
yeah, you were phosphorescing.
Yeah, you were phosphorescing, let's call it.
Crotchal region.
Yeah.
Get a hold of us directly at kooksandcranks@gmail.com, and we will see you next week.
Get a hold of yourself.
Get a good night's sleep. See ya. Good night.